Oh, hello everyone. It's Professor Hatter doing a live stream tonight just because I was bored. Um, Watching the 10, 10-year anniversary of the Blackhawks winning the Stanley Cup. So, figured let's just talk about hockey. Talk about some sports. Just because. Why not? Bored. That's not going to be reliable. So I didn't give a huge thing about like, hey, I'm going to be going live, so it was like one or two things I sent out. So not sure who all will show up, but yeah, I'm gonna try to readjust the lens here so I can see the comments below here if anyone shows up. I got one person, so this last 10, well, now it's 9 minutes of Game 6, 2010. Hawks at Flyers. I want to say Phillies, but that's different. Yeah, kinda, but not really. So my experience with the 2010 Stanley Cup run, the only parts I really remember were the Western Conference Finals when, hold on, I know I have the hat. When they kept saying, oh, Caden's here, look. When, the Hawks beat the Sharks in Game 1 of the conference finals, because Hawks were the number 2 seed that year, and the Sharks were number 1, and when the Hawks beat the Sharks in Game 1, I remember I was going home from a Cubs game with my uncle, and on the radio they're like, oh, we're gonna sweep, and we're both like, no, it's only Game 1, it's too early to call a sweep. And they eventually swept the San Jose Sharks. And for all those San Jose Shark fans, even those bandwagon fans, hats, they're all sad that the Sharks, yet again, shit the bed. They did, when the whole pandemic first started, NBC Chicago, Sports Chicago, the old Comcast, was doing simultaneous, so like one night would be the 2010 Blackhawks run, and then the second night would be the 98 Bulls championship run, coinciding with the Last Dance. So I was watching some of the games. The first round was Nashville that we won. Coyotes are your J38. Why are the Coyotes your second team? I'm not saying that's bad. They're a decent team. I might want to get one of their hats one of these days. But why are the Coyotes your number 2 team? J38. I got the jersey. This is a Taze with a C. The Reebok version. I don't know if you can see in the back where it says Reebok. That's one of the older jerseys before Adidas. I got this off of eBay for like $50, I think, or so. So I needed a hockey jersey. I remember when Reebok was no longer going to be the sponsored brand for jerseys. My mom had said at the time, she's like, oh, do you want like a Patrick Sharp jersey because they're going out? I'm like, nah, not really, and nah, I don't want one. I was thinking of something else, and then like I should have. So I need to get more sweaters or jerseys. Well, these are jerseys. Hockey sweaters. The difference between the hockey guy out in Canada, Vancouver, really described it well. A hockey jersey is, this. A hockey sweater is heavier material. So it's based on the material, really. Um, J38. The reason why they have new ownership is because no one wants to own the Coyotes because they keep threatening every year to move, or to they want a new stadium. They did a rebranding from the Phoenix Coyotes to the Arizona Coyotes. Huge rebranding. But yeah, I know the ugly Coyote, Wiley Coyote jersey you're talking about. Um, so yeah, I mean, the Hawks had a pretty good rivalry with the Coyotes and Canucks. That's another thing I was going to talk about. Um, um, yeah, earlier in the decade, the Hawks had a good rivalry with the Coyotes. I hated them for quite a while. Um, I need to search this up because I know that Marion Hossa took the hit, but I forget who hit him. And, um, it was a real bastard of a player that hit Hossa unprovoked, like out of nowhere. It was like one of the worst hits ever done on a player. And the guy got suspended a long time. I'm trying to remember what name it was. What's that hit? Oh, Rafi Torres. I feel like I should have remembered that name better because um, he played on the Sharks for a bit here and there. I'm not sure where the Coyotes play now. It was always a back and forth in the last few years about which stadium are they going to play at, who's going to fund it. Would be um, would it be shit. So Flyers just scored to tie it up with 3:59 left in the game in the period, but in the game they go into overtime. Spoiler alert there. Um, So yeah, there's always an issue of who's going to pay for it, taxpayers or privately funded for the stadium. I'm not sure about Gretzky owning the Coyotes. I've never followed. I want to say Gretzky had something to do with the Blues after he left hockey, to be honest, but I'm not totally sure what his role was. I want to say he might have coached. I'm just sitting here watching hockey and wondering where the second expert or the bigger expert hockey above me is. Major Leaguer Mr. ML Hats. I'm sure he would be telling me how wrong I am about what I'm talking about with hockey here. Um,